Hovindism Bonus Number 1, Attacking the Smithsonian. Warning: if you are currently in possession of an irony and/or bullshit meter, we kindly ask that you disable such devices. The utter nonsense you are about to witness has been scientifically documented to cause such devices to explode. We will inform you when it is safe to return your equipment to full functionality. You have been warned.
Advanced stone tools were found in a gold mine in California. They're digging in the middle of this mountain, digging a shaft back into a gravel pit under layers of lava supposed to be 55 million years old, and they find human tools in there. Professor Holmes of the Smithsonian was one of the most vocal critics of the California finds. He said, "Perhaps if Professor Whitney had fully appreciated the story of human evolution as it is understood today, he would have hesitated to announce the conclusions, notwithstanding the imposing array of testimony." Is he saying he shouldn't have announced this finding because it goes against the theory?
Mr. Hovind is describing the Calaveras skull. This was actually a challenge to piece together since he so horribly butchered the narrative. On February 25, 1866, miners found a human skull 39 meters below the surface of the earth. The skull made its way into the hands of Dr. Josiah Whitney, then serving as the state geologist of California as well as a professor of geology. No tools were found. It's a skull. There's a difference between the two. Dr. Whitney was known for his fringe hypothesis that humans, mastodons, and elephants coexisted in California during the Pliocene, which is from 5.3 to 1.8 million years ago. He published this hypothesis a year before being given the skull without any supporting evidence whatsoever. Dr. Whitney then claimed the skull to be definitive proof of his hypothesis. This claim was immediately challenged.
Is that what he's saying?
Dr. N.H. Holmes actually stated that the site showed clear signs of intrusive material. Upon interviewing the miners, he encountered conflicting testimony regarding the find. Given this evidence, Holmes cautioned that the find was a fabrication. His conclusion was justified when several miners admitted to placing the skull from an Indian burial in the mine as a prank on other miners.
That's exactly what he's saying. And folks, I'm telling you, there are people that are so dedicated to that stupid evolution theory that they will block out from their mind and from print, if they can, anything that goes against it. They defend the theory with religious fervor.
Mr. Hovind's version of the account is derived from Michael Cremo's claims. Cremo, a Hindu creationist, claims that modern humans have existed far into ancient antiquity and are actually de-evolving away from unity with Brahman. Dr. Holmes was affiliated with the Smithsonian in the 1890s. He died decades before Mr. Cremo was born. Cremo has been selling his pseudoscience for over a decade. No one has silenced him, in the same way that no one silenced Dr. Whitney.
Smithsonian is very responsible for doing a lot of this stuff of hiding evidence against evolution.
It's so well hidden that only Far Out Adventures of the Best of World Explorer magazine, which also claims that Egyptians settled Arizona, can find it.
In 1950s, Thomas Lee from the National Museum of Canada found advanced stone tools in a gravel deposit. The problem was the gravel deposit had been dated at 65 to 125,000 years old, which is way too old for humans to be in Canada.
Dr. Thomas Lee discovered Shigwinda, or however you pronounce that, one of the earliest settlements in North America. Dr. Lee dated the site to 30,000 years ago, not 65 to 125,000 years ago. Dr. Lee's dating is controversial because it conflicts with subsequent studies of the site.
So, the director of the museum was fired for refusing to fire the discoverer.
Dr. Lee's mentor had a falling out with the museum director over a year after the discovery was published. When his mentor left the museum, Dr. Lee resigned out of loyalty. This is a common practice in academia.
Tons of artifacts disappeared into storage bins. The discovery had to be killed. It would have forced the rewriting of almost every book in the business.
Actually, numerous museums throughout Canada have Shigwindan, or however you say that, exhibits, which is the poorest way to conduct a cover-up ever. The real controversy surrounding the site is whether it is a pre-Clovis or Paleo-Indian settlement. If it's pre-Clovis, it's the earliest human settlement in North America. If it's Paleo-Indian, it's just an early settlement. So why bother with this nonsense and risk destroying your valuable irony and bullshit meters? Well, a YouTube user attached this conspiracy theory to our satirical video regarding Mr. Hovind. Apparently he chose that instead of our critical analysis videos, which detailed the errors in Mr. Hovind's claims, including this one. What follows is Mr. Hovind's original conclusion to this side topic, as well as the YouTube user's chosen ending.
We can't have you find something that goes against our theory because all of the books we've printed talk about how wonderful the theory is, and now you're going to make us rewrite all these books, so you're fired.
For those of you so inclined, we have left a link to this Hovind Parrot's video in the video description so that you may impart some knowledge on him and correct his epic fail. It is now safe to return all irony and or bullshit meters to full functionality. As a quick conclusion, we're just going to tell you why we made this video. Many people question, do people actually buy into this Hovind nonsense? Well, here's somebody. Go ask them why. Stop asking us why. Fancy references, the scourge of all creationism. If only they knew how to use Google. Perhaps then they'd be a threat.